Wine. So wine to W-H-I-N-E.
Okay,
Wine
well, at least you're not eating in this video.
That's so mean. Is this connected to that new battery?
Yep.
This was actually an off-the-cuff video, but then all the footage that he just took disappeared.
I wanted to come on your YouTube channel, your new vlog channel, which has been around for a while, and talk about marriage and some relationship stuff.
Cool. Well, we've been married. We've been married just over 8 years now, and I feel like we've learned a thing or two.
Question. So, if you could see me doing things differently in the next 8 years, we've been married 8 years, what would that look like? So obviously you've seen everything that we've done in the 8 years leading up to this point. What would you like to see change and improve, and how would you like to see things progress in the next 8 years?
Practically speaking, just wealthy.
Make more money. What does every woman want?
I want us to be self-sustainable. I want to be able to be in a position to provide for all of our kids. Actually doing some traveling together, the whole reason why we wanted to have kids young was to be able to do that.
Long spoke.
So
more money, more travel.
Yeah,
more
but
kids?
just more self-sustainability. We'll chat. I mean, it's such a generic question, I guess, but like in the last 8 years, can you say that you have grown? And if so, what is it that you have grown in?
I don't necessarily think change is 100% the right word. I think maybe refine is probably a better word.
True.
I think.
I concur.
I think you've got to set yourself on a pathway where you can be happy with the small incremental changes and refine the personality over time. And I think that comes with a lot of different things. I think kids do that. I think every stage of life.
But can you name an example of something that you feel like you have like progressed in or improved in? What's something that you have been able to refine?
My golf game. It's gotten a little bit.
You left that door open. Oh. David, go close it.
Okay. So I think that's a good example. I think I've become more obedient to my master the moment she says something.
No, I will.
Just get up and do it.
No, I will say you've been very consistent with that.
Yeah.
Obeying your master. No. Anytime I ask you to do something, you really do get up and do it. If I say, even if it's like getting the remote on the bench and I know I could get up, I'm like, baby, can you get me the remote? You're like, yep. And you grab it and you give it to me. Whereas like if you told me that, I'd be like, no, do it yourself. You've been very consistent with that, I will say.
Things that I've gotten better with.
Or refined in, like you use the word refinement, which I think is a fair term to use.
Yeah. I'm like quite a slow burn where I try and refine and do that. It goes back to how I see my role as a father and a husband. So my role primarily is to make sure that the home's provided for. And you know, it was always my desire to make sure that you didn't have to work. If you wanted to work, you can go and work, but that you didn't have to work. We got 3 kids and it takes a lot to raise them. My primary role that I focus on is making sure that the home's provided for. So whether that's going to work and doing, you know, the best that I can at work to make the most money that we can for the home, or whether I'm filming or doing something to put out more content so that we can make more money for the home. I mean, all of those things consist a lot of my role. So if that's not being met, or if I'm starting to fall down in that area, then I do tend to just kind of push things aside to make sure that I can get that back up to scratch to where it needs to be. And that can be seen as, well, you're not as present in the home. It's like, well, I understand how you see that, because it would come across that way. But it's not that I'm not as present in the home, it's just that I'm more focused on, I need to get my primary role to provide for the home in check and in order and moving the right way, so then I can function back here.
Yeah, but
because if that's not working, I'm losing my identity in what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, so, and I get that, but at the same time, like those things are never going to be checked off completely.
It's difficult because it is the intrinsic nature of a man that God put Adam in the garden and he said, tend to the garden. So the first thing that God gave Adam was not a wife. The first thing that God gave Adam was something to do. Because it's not good if a man, A, is not alone, that's why he made a wife, and also B, if he doesn't have any kind of identity or something to do. And what happens in the garden? You can go and tend to the garden, you can mow the lawn, but the grass is going to grow back. Adam was the one that was told to go out and work. And a garden, it grows back. You can go and tend to it. It's not like you go out and you work one day and then it's done.
Yeah.
So it's a
Yeah, we
constant
hire someone to
cycle.
do our lawns.
Yeah, well, a garden
To do our gardens.
I've never mowed a lawn in the last 8 years. I don't get the appeal.
Oh, we hire someone because he is hopeless. Love
I'm not
you.
hopeless.
You
I could
are.
mow the lawn.
No.
I just would prefer not
I think
to do
one
it.
time you did it, you were just trying to be helpful and you did it. And then I think I called Brent the following weekend to be like, can you fix it?
Whatever. Maybe I just did a really good job of making sure that I don't have to do it again.
But before you met me, what was your ideal wife?
Wife. Well, I had a couple of prerequisites. One, they had to be a Christian. And two, which is a more serious one for me, is that...
They pick up after me.
No, not that.
Because it's not going to happen.
And two, which is a much more serious one, is that I needed to know that whoever I was going to marry, that they were a Christian through and through. They weren't just a Christian. So I wanted to know that whether I was in the home or out of the home, that they would seek God for themselves. I didn't want to feel responsible for somebody else's relationship with God. I didn't want to feel like I've got to carry not only my own but also their relationship with God, that every time something goes wrong I've got to constantly comfort them about what God can do. Like I didn't want that. I'm happy to do it and
You wanted someone who was confident in their own,
had
a strong foundation and was confident in their own relationship with God.
Yeah, I didn't want somebody who just through a hard time they'd want to throw out their faith in God.
Yeah, I
And
am pretty
that was-
resilient that way, actually, aren't I?
You are very resilient that way. In fact, it sometimes comes the opposite way, where I'll be having a dummy spit about something,
Regularly.
and it's not regularly. My faith in God is never shaken,
No,
but
it's not.
I always am very honest about my feelings with God.
Yeah.
And you've pulled me up a number of times.
No, I think that's a good answer.
If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our channel.
I have food in my teeth. Because every video,
Just a whole lot of beautiful.
he comes up with all these one-liners and it's like ridiculous, but I also melt inside, don't tell him.
I know, like a marshmallow.
I want some more.
You want some more? Or some more of you?
Stop it.
Gosh. My turn. Okay, last question.
Why?
I think this is my posture of thinking. Have I met your expectation up until this point from your expectation of how life would be when we're going into marriage? We got married, and then now. Has
No.
your standards are high?
I had a lot of expectations about different things, but I also didn't know what to expect. So they couldn't meet the expectation because I wasn't really sure what to expect. But I guess one thing I did expect was that I knew that I'd be doing life with you, even though I didn't know what we would be encountering. And I knew that, like, as cliched as it sounds, like we would be together through it, through thick and thin,
Yeah.
rolls of jelly and all.
Because marriage is about a covenant.
Every time I say, baby, do you love me? He goes, yeah. I'm like, what is it that you love? No, what do I say? I said, do you
Why
love
do you
me?
love me?
Oh, why do you love me? Yeah, that's right. I'm like, why do you love me? And he goes, because I have a covenant with the Lord. I'm like,
Well, it sounds
Great, but,
cliche,
like, I want to
and
hear-
obviously she wants to hear all the
I want to hear the s'mores.
cutesy, fuzzy wuzzies and whatever.
The s'mores.
But what it really comes down to is that marriage is more than love. Marriage is a covenant, and there are things that people can love about somebody, but love is really quite surface level, because if you love things about somebody, those things can change.
I have a question.
Okay.
What is one, oh, I won't say one thing, but what is something that you would say to someone who isn't married, who wants to get married, or who's in the process of getting married? And the reason why I ask that is because I feel like it's really hard to explain to someone who's not married what it's like to be married. Like, don't you think? Same with kids. It's really hard to explain to someone who doesn't have children what it's like to have children.
I would probably ask the basic question: why do you want to get married? And it sounds so basic and in some ways so stupid, because a lot of people would respond and just go, well, because I love her. And to which I would respond, well, that's not enough. Because it really isn't enough. I mean, people love each other and then they get divorced and
Fall out
all of
of
these
love.
sort of things. And so that's where I was going with covenant, that you need to understand that you have a covenant with God. The marriage is not just about loving somebody. Marriage is about that you have a covenant union with God, and no matter what, the basis of your marriage is covenant. So even if you've had an argument, if you've had a fight, if whatever, when you go to bed, I love you, kiss you goodnight, I'll go to sleep.
I was thinking, we heard the advice of, never go to bed angry. And we used to try and do that. And it doesn't work. It can't be solved overnight. But I think we used to try that. But I feel like, and I was thinking about this the other day, like we're 8 years into marriage and we've come to a place now where we have a confidence in each other where it's like, we can't go to bed angry because we'll wake up the next morning feeling refreshed and ready to fight again. No, I'm kidding. We have a bit more, we're a bit more level-headed on both sides. I stand by what I say. But I think, again, it's having that confidence, like we're having a fight, but it doesn't negate the fact that I still actually want to serve you.
Yeah, well, you definitely served me like a judge's gavelin. 3 months on the couch. Although we'd never done that. My non-negotiables.
It's true. It was really annoying at first.
We're married.
We were first married.
Whether you're angry with me or you're not angry with me, we are sleeping in the same bed.
You're talking on terms of in the middle of a fight.
Yeah, just because you're upset with me.
Yeah, like I remember when we were first year of marriage, I reckon. Like we would like fight and like it just wouldn't get resolved. And so like we'd try and go to bed. It was just impossible. I would make a big huff about it, make a scene and go, I'm going to bed. And I'd go to the room and then he'd lie down, be like, nah, going to the other room. And I think he followed me into like 4 rooms, the couch, and then back upstairs again. I'm like, this is so annoying. But deep down I was like, this is the consistency that I like. I think this was good.
Easy way to a husband's heart, baby, and making us happy is just feed us, let us have good sleep. Life is good.
Netflix and chill.
Yeah, I still don't know what that means.
That was fun. I feel like we should do it again. If you enjoyed this and our banter and our chat, what do you say? Slap a like.
Yeah, slap a like on there for that. Like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff.
All the good stuff.
Pretty much got it on repeat. Love you.
Anyway, we'll see you in the next video. Bye.